Okay, it's telling me moderators on my feed. Yeah, I know that, but I don't have any right now. Okay, so here we go. This is an attempt at a live. It is on a mobile device, so it is portrait instead of landscape, which is not ideal, but it's only my second live, and it's only like my, I don't know, 9th or 10th full format video since I started doing videos again, which I did videos for a while, and then I hit Vlogmas 2022, and I ran out of spoons when I was trying to edit and get a video up every day, and it knocked me out of being able to do YouTube for over a year. So I don't even edit anymore. I'm trying to see how these live things go, so we will see. First of all, I was trying to edit and get a video up every day. Oh, wait, that's got to be turned down. I can't have it on volume on all of it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using these chicken thighs that my husband got really cheap. It was only like $2.89 a pound for boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Blech, that's pretty good. And I'm going to be making it into marinades and freezing 2 of the marinades, and then we're going to have one of the marinades for dinner tomorrow night because we're not going to eat all of this before it goes bad, and I don't want to batch cook 18 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divvy up the chicken so that I can get that all done and wash my hands. And I know everybody's seen those things that you can use to support your bags, but if you just take the top of the bag, like so, and flip it like this, don't open, there we go, and flip the opening like this, the bag will stand up on its own, and you don't have to do that. Now, when I started doing this, I did realize that I only have one actual freezer bag. These are compostable bags from Boulder, and I have no idea how well these are going to work. But, you know, if they start to leak or something, I can always, they'll be frozen. These are the 2 that are going to go in the freezer. But they'll be frozen, and I can always take them out of this and stick them into a, whatchamacallit, one of those vacuum sealer thingies. One of the bags has a vacuum sealer thingy, because once this is frozen, I can just open up the bag, take it out, and go with that. Okay, so I'm just checking to see how my live is because my phone's over here. You can't see my phone because notifications may come up from people that are trying to get in touch with me, and I don't want to put personal information out there, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so first things first, let's get the chicken out of the package. I've already washed my hands. Let's get the chicken out of the package and put 6 of these thighs in each package. And it's just what the meal is going to be. It's going to be 6 thighs, which means that we'll get 2 meals for dinner and a lunch out of it. So that's 5 and 6. This right here, this little piece is called the oyster. It comes off the backbone of the chicken. That is the best piece of chicken. It really is. And then I'll get my 6 in here. 1, 2, and 3. And throw this away. Also, if you hear me say ow after you hear a loud bump, the reason that you heard that and the loud bump came along is because this is sitting in my microwave. It's sitting in the oven microwave. And my microwave door has to be open in order for me to do that. And quite frankly, I'm not used to working in the kitchen with the microwave door open, so I could very well bash my head into it, which would be funny, but not comfortable. And I'm not sure how funny it would be. I'd probably laugh, especially now that I've said it. I might very well bash my head and laugh because kind of a karma thing or kind of a predestination thing where you say something's going to happen and you hope it doesn't and then it really actually does. Oh, well, hi, Fortnite. Hi, Eric Campos Fernandez. Hello. I had no idea I'd actually have viewers for this video. That's way too cool. Anyway, so that's all my chicken packed up. I need to throw this other package away, and I need to wash my hands because the whole purpose of packing up all the chicken first was to make sure that I could wash my hands and I can touch all of my spices with clean hands while I'm doing this. So, I'm going to make 3 different marinades. Well, thank you, Fortnite Kid. I appreciate that. Fortnite Kid says, I like to watch this. This is fun. Thank you. So, I have my chicken all set up, and now I have to do my 3 marinades. All right, so the first marinade is going to be the one that I'm going to keep in the refrigerator that we're going to eat tomorrow night, and it's a teriyaki marinade. And it starts with a third of a cup of soy sauce. And one thing that you have to bear in mind with me is that I have been cooking for so long. I'm total Gen X. I've been on this planet for over half a century, and I don't measure anymore, which is why my cooking is very from the heart and my baking is terrible. Because cooking, you don't have to measure everything perfectly, but baking, you kind of do. And since I kind of don't, oh wait, this is the one that's not going in the freezer. My baked products don't work right. One of the things that I like to say is that cooking is like biology. It's all squishy and movable, and you can do different things with it. And baking is like chemistry. And if you mess up the stoichiometric relationship between the ingredients, your bake doesn't work right, which is why I don't bake, just for the record. So that was a third of a cup of soy sauce. And now I need a quarter cup of brown sugar. All right, so a quarter cup of brown sugar is about as much as you can squeeze in your hand. So I'm just going to pour some of this into my hand. La, 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 la. Squeeze it. Yep, that's about right. Okay, so a quarter cup of brown sugar. All in. And unfortunately, I mixed a little bit in this one, so I'm guessing that this is going to be the honey one. And I'm going to do an Italian one. And since they're set now, that's just the way it's going to be. All right, so there's those two items. So, yeah. I appreciate your viewership, Fortnite Kid. I really do. It means a lot to me because this is such a baby channel. I mean, such a baby channel. All right, so I've got, it says to add mirin. I don't have mirin, so we're not going to add that. And then it wants ginger. And I don't actually have grated ginger, but I do have these ginger cubes. And it says it wants a teaspoon of grated ginger. So I'm just going to use one of these ginger cubes. Pull that out, and you can just push these out like ice. They pop down in, but you got to make sure that the plastic stayed behind because I really don't want plastic in my marinade. So there's my ginger. It wants 2 cloves of garlic. Hot tip, cold tip really. The best way to store garlic, the best way to buy garlic if you want the best flavor is to buy these already peeled cloves of garlic. But don't store them in your refrigerator because they'll go bad quickly. Store them in your freezer. So these are still nicely frozen bits of garlic. And I've got a rasp here that I'm just going to grind these down. And when you get down to the little nubbin that if you're going to cut yourself, if you continue on, just throw the little nubbin in the bag. It's perfectly fine. All right, so there we go. There's my 2 cloves of garlic, and you'll notice that an awful lot gets stuck on the back. So into the bag, into the bag, into the bag. All right, there's the garlic, and now it wants a quarter cup of water. All right, well, this measuring cup is way too big, but I'm going to use it anyway. Because again, not really huge on measuring things. So about a quarter cup of water goes in, which is not a lot of water. Again, this is habit and experience from cooking on this planet for almost 45 years of my life because I started to be taught how to cook very young. So I've been doing this a while. If you're new to cooking, by all means measure. There's nothing that says that you don't have to measure or that you can't measure. All right, so let's see. I got the soy sauce, the brown sugar. I don't have any mirin, so it didn't go in. I got the grated ginger, the garlic, the water, and I've mixed it, and that's that. So there's the first one. There is my teriyaki boneless, skinless chicken thighs ready to go in the freezer. Sorry, not freezer, refrigerator. To be dinner tomorrow night. Roll it over, get as much of the air out as you can because air is the enemy of marination. And there it is. Number 1. Completely done. All right. So. Aw, Fortnite Kid. Aw. You're so sweet. Aw. Big hug. Okay. You got a big long distance hug. All right, so that was the teriyaki marinade. The next one that I'm going to do is going to be the honey Asian marinade. Is that what it's called? Asian honey marinade. I'm going to do that one next because I've already got some brown sugar in here, which is not actually called for in the recipe, but it's not going to affect it enough for me to worry about digging it out. This one wants a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and because this one is going to be more of a sweet one, I'm going to use your regular all-purpose soy sauce, and it wants a 1/4 cup, so it's about a 1/4 cup. And then I'm also going to add some of this dark soy sauce to this one, because this is just some delicious stuff. If you have an Asian store anywhere in your area, Lee Kum Kee makes some of the best Asian sauces. So I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. And you can see in there how much thicker the dark soy sauce is compared to the all-purpose soy sauce. All right, and now I need a 1/4 cup of honey. Where'd my honey go? Raw honey, best stuff. Love it. And in these little pouches is so cool because all I have to do is just squeeze it out. And there it goes. That's about a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup honey. Done. In the bag. And then this one also wants 2 cloves of garlic, so I'll grab out 2 more of my cloves of garlic. And remember, these are still really well frozen, so grating them on this little rasp is really easy. And I do have to say that I really appreciate my viewers who are watching and are commenting. I suffer from all sorts of levels of panic and anxiety and all sorts of mental health issues. And I was really wondering if people would talk to me in chat, if it would make me panic, because I'm terrified of people in the real world. And it's not. And that's great. And I love it. And that's so cool. So thank you so much, those of you who are watching and chatting. I do very much appreciate it. All right. Now, I had a problem in this one because it calls for sesame oil. And I don't have sesame oil, but I do have almond oil and sesame seeds. So we're going to add some almond oil, and it says it wants a tablespoon of sesame oil. So we're just going to add a scant tablespoon of almond oil. And to get that sesame flavor in there, because sesame brings a lot to Asian cooking, I'm going to open that and plop some sesame seeds in. And while this marinades, and since this one's going into the freezer, while it freezes, the flavors of these things will be soaked into the chicken as it freezes and does stuff. Oh, that was it. That's everything that goes into the Asian honey marinade. So close up the bag, and I'm not getting the air out of it this time because I want some room to maneuver with that chicken. I have to say I don't like the fact that this bag's not see-through because I can't see how well I am doing this. Oh, there we go. All right. All right, so hopefully that is well enough mixed. Hopefully, because the honey has a high viscosity, which means it doesn't run as nearly as well as the soy sauce. So I'm hoping that the soy sauce will mix in with the honey and spread it throughout all of the chicken and not just where the honey actually went in. And then open it up, squeeze out as much of the air as possible, and seal it up. And that one is ready for the freezer. And then the last one that I am making is, oops, that was not what I wanted to touch. Okay. The last one that I'm making is a Italian one. All right, so here we go with the Italian one. Nope, that's what I want to do. And that's what I want to do. Okay. All right, so this one calls for a 1/4 cup olive oil. All right, bear in mind that almost all the olive oil sold in America is imported, so you might want to grab a little extra if you like olive oil. I thought I'd opened one. I guess not. Okay, well, there we go. So 1/4 cup of olive oil. Glug, 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 glug. That looks like about a 1/4 cup. That was actually probably closer to a 1/3 of a cup, but like I said, instructions are kind of fluid in cooking. They are not at all fluid in baking. Now I need some red wine vinegar, just your basic Aldi brand, and I need a 1/4 cup of that. Glug, 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 glug. There we go. Yes, I am the queen of sound effects, and if they irritate you, I apologize. 1 tablespoon Italian seasoning. And I'm just using this Italian salad dressing seasoning packet because I have it and it goes out of date in like a week. So I'm going to use it for this, and then I'm going to use it to make a Italian roast later. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of this in here, just like so. And then I'm going to fold that, and I'm going to fold that, and I'm going to fold that down. And I apologize if things aren't in the screen. Like I said, I am so brand new to live videos that this is just different. All right, has anybody else said hi anything? Oh, 15 Nikki! Thank you so much. You know what? I can put the recipe in the description when I'm done. I can't do it right now, but I'll put all the recipes. I got 6 different marinades and I'm making 3 of them. I'll put all of them in the description after I get done. So it'll be there for you. You're asking what's a great recipe to freeze for meal prep? Almost anything is great to freeze for meal prep, with the knowledge that some things have to be par cooked before they can be frozen. You can, by all means, freeze things like cheese. You can freeze things like eggs. And the way I freeze my eggs, because I found eggs beginning of January for $2 a dozen. And I bought like 20 dozen of them. Yeah. And so I put the eggs, some of them were broken whole into ice cube trays and frozen that way. So they were whole eggs. Some of them, like 4 dozen of them, I think I mixed together and blitzed together. So it was the whites and the yolks all mixed together. And I froze those in ice cube trays because it's still about the size of an egg, but now it's already mixed. And then I took the rest of them and separated the yolks from the whites and froze them separately in bigger containers. The yolks still ended up in ice cube trays, but the whites ended up in bigger containers because we make a lot of egg white omelets when I have the spoons to do it. So those are some. My dog looks cute. You saw my dog? You saw Goldilocks? Oh my goodness, I didn't know you could see my dog. Can you see Baby Bear? He's at my feet. When I'm in the kitchen, Baby Bear's always at my feet. Always at my feet. Why you use garlic powder instead of fresh garlic? I'm actually not using garlic powder. I am using fresh garlic that was already peeled that I bought from Aldi in this great big bag, and I need 2 of them. And I agree with you. Garlic powder doesn't have the same punch that fresh garlic does. But the problem with buying fresh garlic that's already been minced is that garlic releases all of those wonderful garlic flavors the instant you cut it. And the instant those chemicals inside the garlic hit the air, they start to decompose. So the longer the garlic's been cut, the less flavor the garlic has. So these are just cloves of garlic that have been frozen in my freezer. And like I said, I buy these bags. They were like $2 at Aldi. I have several of these frozen in my freezer. But they last for a very long time in the freezer with no effect to the taste of the garlic because the garlic hasn't been cut. It's just been peeled. And now I'm ready to use a rasp to scrape this down. And I am getting my little minced garlic that way. And again, even if there's this little bit left that I can't do anymore because I'll cut me if I try to use the rasp with that last little piece. So I just push the last bit that I can through with my thumb, turn that over, and there's all my fresh garlic without the problem of having to do all the peeling and without having to store a clove of garlic, because sometimes I use like 10 cloves of garlic in a week and sometimes I use 2. So if I buy fresh garlic and leave it on my counter, then it eventually goes bad before I use any of it. So, aw. Well, you know what, Maxine? I guess I just won't invite you over for dinner. It says, Granny, stop cooking, please. 100%. That's a funny comment, because these are my kids. I don't know if you can see. Well, he's right there. If I look in the thing, he's right there. He's looking up at me now. These are my kids. You don't have to be a millennial to think that fur babies are your kids. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I am solid Gen X. And I definitely think my cats and my dog are my fur babies. Wait, you're making food for the cats? No, I'm actually not making food for the cats. I'm making marinades to put in the freezer. These 2 are going to go in the freezer, and this one is going to go in the refrigerator. This one is a teriyaki marinade with boneless, skinless chicken thighs in it. This one is an Asian honey sesame marinade that's going to go into the freezer. And this one is an Italian marinade that's going to go into the freezer. So these are going to go into the freezer and get a nice long juicy marinade because they're going to be frozen for a while. This one will get a nice long marinade because we're going to have it for dinner tomorrow. Okay. And also when I put this in the refrigerator, because this is just a zipper bag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside a bowl so that if there is any leakage, I don't risk cross-contamination between salmonella and anything that's already in my fridge. But, oh, I get it. I thought you were just going to dig in. You know what, Maxine? I will totally accept the nickname Granny. I love it. You know, you want to call me Granny, call me Granny. I'm okay with that. And no, I'm not going to mix this together and eat it this way. Oh, no, 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 no. This is just the prep work for dinner tomorrow night and dinners later next week, next month, whenever we feel like having marinated chicken thighs. But this was chicken thighs that my husband found on sale, and it was too good a price to pass up. So we picked them up. So there we go. All right. That's all my comments. I have finished that one. All right. So I missed something in this one. I missed salt and pepper to taste. So here's my pepper. And I'm not sponsored by any of these. These are just what I use. This is what I have in my house. And here is my salt. And I am loyal to pink Himalayan salt. I love it so much. With the exception of if I'm boiling pasta. If I'm boiling pasta, I put straight non-iodized plain salt in the pasta water because it doesn't have to be fancy salt to flavor the pasta. It just has to be flavored with salt. And then I use the fancy salt in my sauces. All right, let me make sure I got everything. So I got the olive oil, I got the red wine vinegar, I got the Italian seasoning, I got the garlic, I got the, oh, I didn't get the dried oregano. Nope, I missed one. So dried oregano, they want 1 teaspoon. All right, your hand makes an excellent measure. The very bottom of your hand is a teaspoon. If you fill the palm, it's about a tablespoon. So I only want a teaspoon, so I'm just going to fill the bottom of my hand, just like that. Ba-dam! There it goes. Right in there. Ta-da! All right, yes, I make funny sound effects. That's part of my ASD, okay? I have a whole lot of mental miswirings in my brain, so I'm trying to do something, you know, to counteract the fact that I am reclusive and I am a complete shut-in because people terrify me. They really do. Going outside is just, it's a panic attack waiting to happen. Anyway, salt and pepper to taste, combined marinade, that's it. So now all I have to do, really? That's what that means? Okay, I am low-key eating this shit up. All right then. I will take your Gen Z compliment, Maxine. And thank you for it. Thank you very much. Let's see. So this one I'm going to close, but again, I'm not going to squeeze the air out yet because I want these things to mush around and meld with each other so that all those flavors get mixed in with each other, just like so. And then I will open it back up again and let the air out. And for those of you who came in later, I just want to point out that after I separated all the chicken out, I went and washed my hands, and I haven't touched any raw meat since I did that. So that kept all of my supplies and all of my spices and everything all in good working order. So that's it. I now have 3 marinades done. It doesn't take very much spoons to do marinades. It's a great way to make sure that if you find cheap meats that you can use them up over time, and you don't have to worry about using them up immediately. And these 2 will taste fantastic because they will be in the freezer for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whenever it takes me to get it back out. And this one will taste fantastic because it's going to marinate until probably tomorrow afternoon when I start cooking it. So there it is. Oh, another tip. If you have any nut oils like sesame oil, almond oil, cashew oil, any of those, keep them in your refrigerator. Nut oils will go rancid very quickly. So that's just a tip, if you didn't know. I just had to clear it up by saying it's a Gen Z compliment because a lot of people take it as offense since they don't know. I appreciate that, Maxine. I really do. But I spent over 20 years of my life as a teacher before the last trauma sent me indoors and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I really thoroughly loved all of the ways that all of the kid speak changed over the course of the 20 years that I taught. And it was just amazing to see it happen. And my kids loved teaching me the new terms. And I thought it was great. So I'm going to say thank you to you for teaching me a new term because that's one that I hadn't heard before. So, this is my second live, and I can start to feel my panic starting to rise a little bit because now that I've done all that, I don't know what to say now. So I'm going to sign off now unless somebody puts a comment in. Oh, thank you, Maxine. Maxine said I have a sweet soul. Oh, thank you. Nikki, Nietzsche, 15. I don't know how to pronounce that name, and I apologize if I just botched it because I probably did. But You know, Granny, I'm subscribing to you because you're so cute. Oh, thank you, Maxine. I appreciate it. But anyway, my anxiety is rising, and that's going to lead to a panic attack if I don't get off of this now. So I appreciate those of you who came and watched. I really adore that I had live viewers. That was amazing. I am going to put this video back up, and I am going to put the recipes for all 6 marinades in the description. So if you want to do any of these, you'll have the recipes in front of you. And again, just because I've been cooking for 45 years and can do this without measuring doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. If you want to bring out your measuring cups, do it. Do you. You do you. Okay? You cook the way you want to cook. You adjust things the way you want to adjust them because you know your tastes. And that's all I have to say. And bye-bye. Love you too. I will keep my shit up. Vaccine. I will do that. And Fortnite Kid, I'm sorry, I do have to leave because if I stay here much longer, I am going to have a panic attack because I can feel the anxiety rising, part of my mental health issues. But I really appreciate y'all. And I'm going to sign off now. And I hope that everybody who watched this live and everybody who watches it in the future has a wonderful day. Be safe, peace, be well. Now I got to figure out how to turn this off. There it is.